Welcome to today's deep dive. So, you sent us this really fascinating source today to look at. It's a spec sheet from HDTVSupply for a piece of gear, the DBX DriveRack PA2 complete loudspeaker management system.
Yeah, it runs about $820 or so.
Right. And our mission today is to figure out how this little box basically acts as the invisible brain making live audio sound professional. Because, well, you know that universal full body cringe when you're at a live event and someone steps up to the mic and suddenly.
Yeah, that ear-piercing screech.
Yeah.
Or, the bass kicks in and it's just this muddy, rumbling mess. It's basically the physics of sound going completely rogue in an uncontrolled space.
Exactly, yeah. Absolute acoustic chaos. So if live sound is basically this complex physics problem, how does an algorithm actually go about solving it?
Well, it starts by analyzing the physical room itself. Because, every room reflects sound differently. Like high ceilings bounce frequencies one way and crowded floors absorb them in another.
Right, even the bodies in the room change the sound.
Exactly. So the drive rack uses a feature called auto EQ. You plug in an optional RTA mic, and the system literally listens to the room's unique geometry.
Okay, let's unpack this because this is where it gets really interesting for anyone who has ever suffered through a really long sound check.
Oh, the endless sound checks.
Hey, because instead of enduring those agonizingly long, just annoying broadcasts of pink noise that sound engineers traditionally blast to tune a room, this algorithm calculates the speaker levels and room EQ in seconds.
Seconds. Yeah, it's incredibly fast.
I mean, it's basically like a smart thermostat, but for audio. It instantly reads the chaotic acoustic environment and then automatically balances the temperature of the sound, so to speak.
That's actually a perfect analogy. It establishes an ideal baseline. But, once your room's EQ is balanced, you face the next biggest live audio threat, which is unpredictable feedback loops.
Oh, it's the dreaded screech.
Right, exactly. Feedback is literally just a sound loop getting out of control between a speaker and a microphone.
Yeah.
So the drive rack tackles this with its advanced feedback suppression, or AFS, algorithm.
Okay.
It actively listens for the specific buildup of a feedback loop, and it adjusts the output to stop it before it even reaches a screech.
Wait, hold on. I have to push back on that a little bit. If an algorithm is aggressively hunting for and, killing feedback frequencies, how does it not accidentally chop out the good frequencies?
That is a totally valid concern.
Because wouldn't that just ruin the actual music?
Well, the specs tout 32-bit floating point processing to handle this, which allows for, massive mathematical precision.
Okay, wait. 32-bit floating point is just computer jargon to most of us. How does that actually translate to, say, saving the guitar's solo without making the whole mix sound dead?
Fair point, fair point. Think of it like a sniper versus a shotgun. A clumsy EQ acts like a shotgun. To kill a screech, it turns down a massive chunk of your high-end frequencies.
Which just dulls the whole sound.
Exactly. But the AFS algorithm uses incredibly narrow notch filters. It calculates the exact mathematical frequency of the screech and surgically drops just that tiny sliver of sound.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the frequencies right next to it, the ones carrying the actual music, they're left completely untouched.
That makes a lot of sense. So you've got this hyper-precise brain doing all this math, and the spec sheet also highlights features like subharmonic synthesis. And instead of just dropping that as another buzzword, what's actually happening there?
Oh, subharmonic synthesis is brilliant because of how it handles the low end, because usually people just crank up the bass EQ, right?
Right, which just makes the speakers sound muddy and overloaded.
Exactly. But instead, this algorithm analyzes the bass signal and synthesizes entirely new frequencies an octave below the original.
Wait, really? It creates new frequencies?
Yeah. It artificially creates a deeper, club-shaking bass response, but without physically straining your speakers.
That is so cool. But I mean, all of this processing, creating fake bass octaves, sniper shooting feedback, driver alignment, delays down to 1.847 milliseconds. How does someone actually manage this without a master's degree in acoustic physics?
Well, that's the beauty of it. The PA2 uses what they call wizard setup functions. It's essentially a foolproof, step-by-step software guide.
Okay, so it walks you through it.
Yeah, it walks you through balancing levels, running the auto EQ, and tuning the system whether you're running, say, a simple two-way speaker setup or a massive three-way array. And crucially, you aren't tied to the gear rack anymore.
Right, I saw that. You can plug it into a wireless Ethernet router and control everything from an app on a Mac, PC, iOS, or Android device, which is wild.
It really is.
You can literally be walking around the back of a venue, swiping on your phone screen, and completely realigning the timing of the speakers.
Exactly. It really acts as an automated safety net.
Yeah.
It optimizes the loudspeakers and just takes the complex math out of the equation.
Right.
It almost completely eliminates the human error of trying to manually mix a difficult acoustic space.
It's basically the invisible hero of the gig. I mean, it's doing millions of calculations a second just so we can enjoy a clear kick drum, which I think leaves you with this thought.
Yeah.
The next time you're at a show and you hear perfectly balanced audio in a terrible, echoey venue without a single microphone screech, ask yourself, are you hearing the natural acoustics of the room? Or are you actually hearing an algorithm silently fighting the room in real time?